Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
So I'm Shankar Mitra. This is Christopher Harris, and we are the assistant co-directors of the center. And so we wanted to welcome all of you here and also all of you online. I just have a couple of things to mention. And one is that, Geshe-la has been teaching a lot about Guru devotion on Thursday. And then today also he mentioned, quite a bit about the merits of the best way to serve the Guru is through your practice, and then in the lam-rim it talks about serving the Guru with generosity, right, and so forth and so on. So I wanted to mention that it's if you are able, that it's very, very meritorious, especially to create the karma to meet our gurus, meet gurus in this life if one doesn't have one already, but also to meet gurus continuously in future lives, to whatever guru one has connection with in this life, for the gurus to continue to guide us in future lives. So whatever you can do to help, if Geshe Zopa has spoken to you, in other words, you feel connected to him, then I encourage you to make a donation to Geshe-la. That's customary, and you don't have to do it now, but you can do it at the end of the last retreat, I guess. And if you want to do that, then you can send a message to Matt. That's the best way to do it, probably. Send a message to giving@tnlsf.org, and then you'll get the information as to how to make a donation. Secondly, I wanted to mention also that when Lama Yeshe started FPMT, and when the first center, of which I used to belong to, Vajrapani Center in California, was started, he said that the Buddha Dharma in the West is a 300-year project, right? So we are about 50 years in. Like Vajrapani going to celebrate its 50th year next year. And so you can see that, it's a long way to go still, and supporting the Buddha Dharma in any way you can is also one of the greatest ways to spend your life. This is not just me saying it. This is what Rinpoche says. Lama Yeshe has said. Lama Tsongkhapa says. And so, if you are able to support our center so that we can reach more students, we're doing a lot more things in person, and we have plans also on Zoom. So if you're able to support generously our center, we would really appreciate it. There was one other thing. Oh, and some students at lunch were talking about, since Geshe-la spoke about the importance of Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga and Lama Chopa, some of us were talking at lunchtime, and so we are going to have a Lama Tsongkhapa, I'm the one who's going to lead it, Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, every Monday morning at 6 a.m. Mountain Time, starting 2 days from now. And once a month, we will do the Lama Chopa at 5:30 on Tuesday evenings. That'll be on the calendar on the TNLSF website. So, I think that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to introduce the fact that a couple of weeks ago, we had our first movie premiere at the Buddha Center. Geshe Tenzin Zopa's first starring role in Unmistaken Child. And that was a pretty good success, I thought. So we're going to do it again on April 1st at 6 p.m. Wow. We're going to show the movie Blessings. So we hope all of you will come for that. And wow. Venerable Dondrup's going to put that on the calendar so that we can link to it. It's only going to be in person, not on Zoom. And then just real quick, the last thing is if you're interested in volunteering, I think we've got a lot of volunteers that are out doing stuff, and I think we're proving that we're not abusing any one person anymore. So if you're interested in volunteering, Kodo, right? Please contact me or Shanka, and we can set you up with creating your own merit, helping the center. Thanks so much.
Hope you had a good lunch. And thanks for the delicious lunch. You cooked. Okay. Today I realized kale can put in soup. So next time I will try. So this is my lam-rim learning today. Usually I blend as a juice. So I didn't know that it can go in the soup. Very nice. Any questions this morning? No question. No, didn't get a chance to have any question answer. If not, then I can carry on.
Venerable on Zoom. And we have a question from Karen.
Sure.
Hi, Karen. Would you like to unmute?
Are you talking about me?
Yes.
No, I answered it.
Oh, sorry.
myself.
I do apologise, Venerable and Karen. It was Catherine
Oh.
Howard.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, I just wanted to know where we could get the one page path. The thing you were talking about is one page instead of it was like the smaller.
The
the
one
medium-
page, maybe
Yeah.
it's the foundation of good quality.
Yeah.
Or foundation of all good qualities.
Oh, okay.
You can find in the prayer books. Nowadays, you can find easily in PDF file in the internet easily.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And then the another one is Songs of Experience. Songs of Spiritual Experience. Another text. Anyone else? Question? Seems like maybe not. Okay. Yeah, there are a few points that in relation to approach to lam-rim in study that I didn't manage to mention this morning, and that is the subject in relation to the last two chapters, which is one of most important chapter. The chapter on shamatha, serenity, and the chapter on wisdom of emptiness, and especially the chapter on wisdom of emptiness, one of most elaborate teaching, most concise yet elaborate, complete, and presented all the important sources of teachings on emptiness from many great treatises and sutras in Lamrim Chemo, the great Lamrim. So in order to, as for the subject on serenity or the shamatha, there are few important points that which must study. The one is the 9 stages of the shamatha training mind, the nine levels of the shamatha mind, or 9 stages of the shamatha mind. So good to learn the definition, and it is characteristic of each level, because while you are training in the serenity or the shamatha or the karma abiding, without knowing the characteristic of level of the mind, you will not know where you reach. Which level you are progressing, you will not know. Then also, what happens what really is happening, along those 9 levels of the shamatha mind during the training. It is very much negating or overcoming 5 faults, which is described in Maitreya's teaching. 5 faults, such as laziness, etc. Mainly, the 5 faults can be also summarized in the 2 faults, 2 obstacles. The obstacles of excitement, the wandering, the aspect of the mind, then the obstacles of the laxity, the dullness aspect of the mind. These 2 are the major obstacles. And when that, interpret into more loose manner, then it comes into 5 different kind of faults. The certain faults occur at the preparatory part, like such as the faults of laziness. We need to figure it out from there in order to have a sustainable practice on the training. Then these 5 faults, or the two major faults, has to be overcome by 8 antidotes, like such as faith, aspiration, such as mindfulness, such as introspection, like that, and also learn about when to apply antidote, when to applicate the antidote, and when not to, etc. So these are the detailed learning is in the subject of the serenity. So it's must learn all this detail. The progress from the 1st level to the 9th level very much happened reducing of the obstacles, these 5 obstacles or the 2 obstacles, through the skillful applications of the antidote along the 9 levels of the training. And the applications of the 8 antidote, it does not happen naturally. It has to be applied with conducive conditions. So there are 2 major conducive conditions again needed to keep in mind and needed to learn. So those are called the 6 forces and 4 attentions. So with the help of 6 forces and 4 attention, using the antidote as the tool, very much like 6 forces and 6 forces and 4 attentions are the strength, the grip, the strength of the how tight you hold on the actions, which is the antidote, then bring about the effective, eliminations of the faults, and that's how you progress from the 9 levels of shamatha. And shamatha, there are also conducive conditions. I think we also had a class on that, so we have elaborately discussed on that. And there are a few more, such as the 6 forces, 4 attentions, 9 level of the mind. I think in coming classes, I think we will discuss more detail. And the Lama Tsongkhapa in Lamrim, he is very much based on these explanations. Is Sarvaka level. There's one sutra called Sarvaka level by Asanga. That's the one of the most elaborate teachings on the serenity and meditation. So Lama Tsongkhapa followed that, and ourselves, if we want to expand our learning, then maybe you can adopt those texts and study. So now, as for the study on the wisdom chapter, in order to apprehend easily what Lama Tsongkhapa compiled in the wisdom chapter, especially asserting the final absolute view of emptiness in accordance with the Pasangika Madhyamika view. So there are discussions or comparison, the presentations of the view, in accordance with the Madhyamika view. So Madhyamika has two schools of view, Madhyamika Sautantika, which is the earlier view, then Madhyamika Pasangika Madhyamika, Pasangika Madhyamika view. And that is the emptiness, understanding emptiness view, which is the final view, or the absolute view of understanding, and in accordance with the intentions of Nagarjuna, and in accordance with the intentions of the Shakyamuni Buddha. And that is the correct view on emptiness, that which you use as an antidote along the 10 bhumis to overcome these 9 portions of the defilement and actualize Buddhahood. So, so in order to apprehend easily those philosophical quotations and explanations that presented in the wisdom chapter, it is beneficial for us to study the tenet, the knowledge on the viewpoint of the 4 schools, Buddhist 4 schools, such as Vaibhasika school, Sautantika school, Mainoli or the Chittamatara school, and Sautantika and Pasangika Madhyamika school. So this view of the presentation on the emptiness view by these 4 schools, can be very helpful for us not to get confused, of those different quotations that which presenting for the purpose of further deeper understanding. It compiled as a discussion purpose, as a challenging our deeper understanding purpose. So sometimes not just presenting the Pasangika Madhyamika's view, but also presented Sautantika Madhyamika's view, etc. And sometimes you can also see presentations of the earlier school's view. So if you study the tenet, then you get to learn the definitions of the selflessness or the emptiness, in accordance with each school. Then not only the definition, but then also the subdivisions, like such as an example, when we talk about selflessness, selflessness is not just one thing, selflessness in relation to person and selflessness in relation to phenomena, like that. So it's like a 2 divisions, etc. Then not only that, if you study tenets, they are also, presented the opponent's view in order to bring more clarity on the presentation of its own individual's school. So presented, some other school's view, then as a basis to discuss and to bring about, deeper level of understanding of each school's view on emptiness. So like that. Then also presented very clearly the negation that asserted by each of the school, all the way up to the most subtle and absolute negation that to be negated in order to apprehend the most correct and most most correct, and as well as the final view on emptiness. So you will learn all this, from the tenets. So that way you're able to, such an example, the Pasangika Madhyamika's view on emptiness is simply the wisdom that realizing lack of inherent existence or lack of substantial existence. So, so in order for us to apprehend what it means by lack of inherent existence or lack of substantial existence, we need to peel the layers of the false assertion on the negation, and which are the negation that which is asserted by the earlier schools. It's very much like if you want to know the actual essence or the core, the center of the onion, that you will get there by peeling the skin one by one. That you get closer and closer to understand exactly what really the core essence of the onion is. It's like that, So the study of the tenets is actually very, very beneficial for understanding of emptiness. So there are many different, teachings on the tenets, but there are also concise, small texts, such as the Jitsun Chögi Gyaltsen, the founder of the study text of the great Sera Monastery, Seraje Monastery, and it is also a subject that which used in the FPMD study programs. So I think there may be many commentaries and many translations. Myself also taught that when I was a resident teacher in Malaysia. So there's the note that compile on PDF file on my blog. So you can also read, just very simple, just guiding through the text. And as you can see, the English that I use is very, very simple, very poor. So it will be very, very easy for some of the beginners to understand. Then the another text is also beneficial to study is Salam, the ground and path. Again, this is also, I think in FPMD study groups, sometimes they study this, the ground and path, called Salam by Jitsun Chögi Gyaltsen. Again, there are so many texts on ground and path, but this text is very concise, very, very simple, very easy to understand. And this will help to get clear understanding of the 5 parts and 10 bhumis, and sometimes whenever we try to present the teaching more subtle level, then start to talk about 5 parts and 10 bhumis and this negation, that negation, then it seems like confusing, confusing, and then confusion is not because of it's too difficult to understand. It's just simply because of someone never read that text, never exposed to that text. Otherwise, very simple, very easy. So this would be very helpful. Then in the wisdom chapter, the main presentations of the emptiness is based on Nagarjuna's text and the Chandrakirti's text, and then Buddha Palita's text. So especially Nagarjuna and Chandrakirti's, those quotations, even while you are studying Lamrim, if you apprehend well of those, those quotations, at least, these 3 masters teaching, those, because Lama Tsongkhapa study entire scripture, and he really already done all the homework for us. He just select the best. So put in Lamrim. And as long as we grab that, very much, you will understand any scripture when you open and when you study that, you see. So mainly, Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, Buddha Palita. Then if you wish to explore more, then you look into like Nagarjuna's, 6 different kind of, treatise, especially the root of the wisdom, the Sawashvaram, so you study that. So I think there may be English translations are already available, and nowadays most of the texts are available, in the internet. So so most of these texts, it sounds like it's very hard, just hearing the name, and also some of the teachers, it just sound like so hard. And then the student just feel, oh, this is, I think, is not for me. Oh, I need to enter into monastery, like the great monasteries, and live there for 20, 30 years to just to apprehend that. It's not really like that. The moment you give a time to read, you will find, wow, that's so easy. This is easy. So it's more about you're able to read it. It's not about the text is very hard, like that. Even in the monastery, sometimes, when the new monks and nuns, just the word on the cloud, it sounds like so hard. You need to wait 20 more years to just apprehend that. Then some bit, you can say, smart or mysterious or disobedient students, then even though you are just a beginner, just on the pre-level, you already start to read those texts, those texts, Madhyamika on emptiness, and you say, oh, this is quite easy, It's actually not difficult as it sounds, like that, is it? So so I think it goes quite similar to all of us outside of the monastery too. So I think as long as we give ourselves, how to say, create a sense of a habit to just, open those texts and just read it, and you will be amazed. You may think that, oh, it seems like maybe I may be the Nagarjuna's reincarnation. How come? I understand so easy. I may be Chandrakirti's reincarnation. Maybe I should go and claim, because you may find Chandrakirti, Nagarjuna, Buddha Palista's reincarnation in Santa Fe. Who knows? In Drubbaling. So yes, like that. Then the Tantra. Then even in Lamrim, at the end, very briefly to, kind of make a bridge. So it's a part of Lamrim. It is a Lamrim. So Lama Tsongkhapa, of course, his great, 18 great treatises are there. Then two most outstanding and is very relevant to both lay practitioners and monastery practitioners, newcomers, seniors. For the sutra is the Lamrim Chemo or the Lamrim. For Tantra is Tantric Ground and Path. So these 2 texts is something that to study. So in any way, for Tantra, of course, to study detail, then good to receive initiation, because initiation is the doorway to study the Tantra. Because without initiation, the more essential, more important subjects in the tantric practices won't able to learn. So first, of course, we can train ourselves to start with receiving some blessing initiations, called Janam, from Kriya or Action Tantra, like such as Compassionate Buddha Charistic, such as Vajrasattva, such as Medicine Buddha, then you train in those sadhana, which are very simple and which don't have much commitments, then gradually, then you progress yourself into receiving like high Sukhi Tantric initiations. And so high Sukhi Tantric initiation very much falls into Mother Tantra and Father Tantra tradition. So most of the Mother Tantra deities, like such as Vajrayogini, Chakrasambhara, Heruka, so these deities require preliminary initiations of high Sukhi Tantric from the Father Tantra initiation, such as Yamantaka, like Guya Samaja or Kalachakra, like that. So then such as like Tara, like Green Tara, has the a lineage in the Action and Kriya Tantra, as well as has the lineage in High Sukhi Tantra. Cheresik too has a lineage in Kriya Action Tantra, as well as in High Sukhi Tantra. So, so once you receive the common blessing initiation and train in those sadhana, then try to receive one Father Tantra initiation. If there's a Kalachakra, would be wonderful. If not, maybe Yamantaka, So receive Yamantaka. Then after that, it opened unbelievable door into Tantra. And most of the Tantric activities you can perform, such as pacifying, obstacles and negativities, actions of the deity called pacifying activities. Then increasing merit, increasing the spiritual conditions, such as the practice of increasing actions of the deity. Then controlling of overcoming negativities, but at the same time controlling your own mind, controlling others, in order to guide and discipline into pure Dharma practices. They are practice the deity's actions of controlling action. Then there's also a wrathful action, of course, which require far more intense trainings in that. So there are certain unseen and subtle, distractions to be overcome. So they are overcome, through the journey of effective spiritual practice. So there's a deity's activities called the wrathful activities. So Shige, Shiva, Yewa, Wang, Tapo, Shige, Wang, Ta. So those are the 4 activities of deity. So this only can be performed when you have high Sukhi Tantric initiation. Then, as we know, Vajrayogini initiation, Vajrayogini practice is among all the deities, especially in this degenerated time. And we carry the desire realms, samsaric aggregates. We are in the desire realm, and among all the delusion, one of the most degenerated delusion, degenerated in the sense become more stubborn. The delusion in the past is quite sensitive, to overcome. But now the delusion becomes so stubborn, So from that point of view, we call the degenerations of even the delusions. And among all the delusion, the desire is the worst one. The desire, desire is very much like kind of live as our immune system day-to-day life. Anger is there. Anger is also regarded one of the most destructive negative emotion, but then it occurs like kind of once a while like that. But the desire is like kind of living present, all the time in our system like that. So therefore, Vajrayogini is like a direct antidote to the desire. And from the 5 degeneration, we ourselves is degenerated. The lifespan is degenerated. Lifespan is shorter than past fortunate time. Our mindfulness, our concentration, sharpness of wisdom also degenerated. So therefore, comparing Vajrayogini with other deity, it's very simple. Even you do a self-generation of the Vajrayogini, very easy, simple. When you want to visualize, do the mandala yoga, body mandala, etc., It's very simple. The mandala is very simple. The celestial, description is very simple comparing to any of the other high school tantric deity. Then the yogas, the sadhana yogas is very much integrating what we do in our day-to-day life, the 11 yogas like that, 11 yogas, like wake up yoga. Can you imagine? We always have to wake up. Every day we wake up. So you're waking up onto the path to enlightenment. Then sleeping yoga. We every day go to sleep. Sleeping yoga. Then tasting nectar yoga, etc. So it's very much what we normally do is just, taking that onto the daily yoga practice of Vajrayogini. And that's how it brings so easily about the purification that we needed and accumulations of the causes, to actualize the illusory body and the clear light, you see. So therefore, you see, practicing Vajrayogini, the moment you take the initiation, then you start to practice the sadhana. How lousy practitioner you may be, how lazy and how forgetful and how distracted you may be. 16 lifetime is like guarantee you will be enlightened. Unbelievable. 16 lifetime you will achieve Vajrayogini Pure Land. Unbelievable, isn't it? 16 lifetime. I mean, thinking about where we came from beginningless lifetime in samsara, now just giving 16 lifetime to actualize Vajrayogini Pure Land is unbelievable. This is too quick. And that's for the lousiest one, like the practitioner like me, is hopeless. But still, offer hope. 16 lifetimes, So who would not practice that? Yeah, it's like that. So you see, then not all, as I mentioned before, so easy to practice. It's some of the deity when you go through body mandala, it's headache. You need to 10 doses of Panadol. You may need maybe 10 cups of strong coffee to stay awake. So it's not easy, not easy. Then remembering the sadhana is not easy. So complicated, you see. So therefore, Vajrayogini practice, Then, if you are diligent enough, within that very cushion, within that very session, can be actualized, Vajrayogini Pure Land. Within that very session, could be 1 hour session, 5-minute session, don't know. If you are really focused, diligent, like that. Then otherwise, slightly relaxed one, maybe after 3 years of great retreat. Wow, that's amazing, unbelievable, Then if not, during the clear light, through the Vajrayogini yoga, go through the jet process and reaching to the clear light and actualizing clear light on the path is again, comparing to many other daily yoga practice, one of the simplest one and one of the really, like, even while you're training now, is really, you can bring you say forward the clear light period now, like that. So it's so effective like that. Then not only that, it also offer certain very, very blessed transmissions which serve as a power, transparent consciousness. If ourselves in the position of no time to practice, let's say my death is occurring next moment, and I really don't have time, but then you're able to make connection to this practice, then through the qualified guru can able to provide just simply a transmission of, there are very rare practices, you see, just transmitting that, offer the benefit of power, transparent our consciousness into Vajrayogini, like that, see. So, yes. So, but in order for us to get opportunity to learn all this, first we need to receive the initiation. Yeah. So initiation is the doorway, like that. Then, in order to receive the initiation, there are two preliminaries that we need to practice. The common preliminary and uncommon preliminary, or common preparatory practice and uncommon preparatory practice. So the common preparatory or preliminary practice is for us to have a well understanding and certain level of really habitual experience on lam-rim, three principal aspects of the path. Without renunciation, the tantra, even how powerful, cannot turn into path. Without bodhicitta, how powerful the tantric practice cannot actualize as a cause for enlightenment. Without emptiness wisdom, how powerful the tantra is, cannot utilize self-generation of the deity, or front generation of the deity, all the body mandala, all the rest of the profound yoga, especially the generation and completion stages of the tantric practice, cannot be utilized if we don't have a solid understanding on emptiness. You see, so studying lam-rim is in fact actualizing the common preparatory practice for us to be qualified to enter into tantric practice. So now the uncommon preparatory practice is, as I mentioned before, taking blessing initiations like such as medicine Buddha, Vajrasattva, Actualizing, etc. Then going into retreat. So there are I think four Ngondo retreats, 4 preliminary retreats. So this is the uncommon preparatory practice to be effective entering into tantra. When you have all this retreat, then when you enter into learning of tantra, practicing tantra, the tantra become, the daily yoga practice like such a practice becomes so yummy, so powerful, so effective. You see. So the first one is do minimum 100,000 refuge practice, which is called, in order to ripen ourselves to the tantra, then you engage into the preliminary retreat of 110,000. Usually say 100,000, but then the 10,000 is kind of like a backup for insurance in case during the retreat that you misspell the mantra or didn't do properly the session, so the 10,000 will be covered up. So in order to ripen ourselves, then you do a retreat of refuge. Then in order to purify and actualize, the pure vessel to receive the tantric blessing, then you engage into the Vajrasattva retreat, 100,000 Vajrasattva retreat. And the Vajrasattva mantra is the 100 syllable, not the short one. As for the refuge, so you can take refuge in Guru, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, or Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. You can also do Sangye Chotan Soji Sonala Chajupada Tanjata Jola Peji Sangye Dubashu refuge prayer, or Lama La Jasucho, Sangye La Jasucho, Chola Jasucho, Gindula Jasucho. So accumulating 100,000 times, and that going into a session. If you do properly, maybe within 2 weeks you can complete comfortably. Within 2 weeks. So you do 4 sessions a day, 4 sessions a day, and each session maybe about 2 hours, and you do that with short preliminary, like kind of like setting up altar, doing prostration, then sit down and doing lam-rim practice, and then after that, then have a proper visualization of the refuge object. Then you recite, you accumulate the mantra. Then for the Vajrasattva is the 100-syllable mantra, that need to be accumulated. But the preliminary practice is the similar way. Then in order to accumulate the resources of merit, in order to have a powerful impact of the tantric practice, you need a lot of merit. Then for that, you engage in the preliminary retreat of mandala offering. This all retreats Lama Tsongkhapa have done. Like after Lama Tsongkhapa, even compose great treatise on Madhyamika, on emptiness, but still he haven't realized emptiness directly, the wisdom. He know intellectually, he can interpret correctly. He even composed the text in which we use nowadays as a root text to study. But he haven't realized, he's unable to realize in his premium the realization, the wisdom of emptiness. So then he seeks the advice from Manjushri. Manjushri says that lacking of merit, and lacking of purification, your smartness is there, but lacking of merit and wisdom, merit and purifications of negativities. So you should go into a retreat. So then he traveled to the one place called Wakachoning. So there he did extensive prostration practice and extensive mandala offering practice. So that time, I think Lama Tsongkhapa maybe didn't have this mandala base like what we can obtain in today's time. So he used a stone, and he because of mandala offering, they are, they need to be wrapped. This vein here, regarded as a bodhicitta vein. So you just, of course, not rub to hurt you, but there's a great meaning there. Wrapping out 3 poisons, and collecting, the merit of three countless eons, or all the virtues like that. So anyway, this is another thing that you can study. You can study about the Vajrasattva practice and mandala practice. You can easily learn. So anyway, until the whole flesh and all hurt, can see the bone, and still he didn't give up, and he did the mandala offering practice, many hundreds and hundreds of thousands. So then one day, right there, realized the wisdom of emptiness, with the help of merit and with the help of purifying the negativities. So therefore, in order to purify the negativity, we do the Vajrasattva retreat. In order to accumulate the merit, we do the mandala, 100,000 mandala offering practice. So the mandala offering practice, you can also combine together with the refuge practice. So, if you're using the container, then Sanje Chodan Suji Sunala Chanchupada, the refuge prayer, you recite first. That time you do 3 out, 3 in. Then when you place, there are 36 hips that you can place, 37 hips and 7 hips, 1 hips. So the 7 hips is the most convenient one. Like central is Mount Meru, then 4 continent, then sun and moon. You see, so rub 3 times out, rub 3 times in. Then after that, pour 1 hips on the central, then pour another hips on front, the 4 continent, then sun and moon. So while you're doing the 7 hips, then you recite like this. Sanje Chodan Suji Sunala Chanchupada Taneka Sanjay Takijuto Jibesanam Jia Tola Pija Sanjay Duo Barasho Sashi Pija Chosimido Damrira Risha Yedi Jambade Sanjay Shinto Mide Boy Tuponam Dashana Chuvasho Edam Guru Rana Medala Kanitayami Sanje Chodan Suji Sunala Chanchupada Taneka Sanjay Takijuto Jibesanam Tola Pija Sanjay Duo Sashi Pija Chosimido Damrira Yedi Jambade Sanjay Shinto Mide like that. So you can accomplish 2 retreat together, refuge and mandala. So you can also do like that. So otherwise, you directly accumulate Sashi Pejujimendo and Junam Church, Sashi Pejujimendo Yamade Sanjation, the boy, Tupanam Dashanacho, Edam Guru, like that. So again, it's good to have a separate class for, maybe 1 or 2 sessions for mandala, and the 1 session for Vajrasattva, 1 session for refuge. In fact, traditionally, these 4 preliminary practices first has to go through transmissional teaching called Ngondo teaching, Ngondo teaching sheet, the 4 commentary on commentary or transmission on the 4 preliminary practice. So usually you conduct the retreat after receiving this commentary on these 4 preliminaries like that. So there you learn how to do the practice. Then the 4th one is, in order now yourself is ripened to practice the Tantra. You also have all the conducive conditions such as purifying, bringing yourself pure through purification, and have the resources for accumulation of merit. Now, in order to really receive the blessing and the blessing become your path, to actually that you actualize the path, and that is receiving the blessing. So in order to receive the blessing, then you do Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga retreat, or Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga retreat, also 100,000 times. So that one is based on the sadhana that you're going to use, that you want to practice, once a week. I just heard is amazing. So even that alone going to be unbelievable practice to ripen ourselves, and whatever level of practices you do in sutra, and especially if you are doing tantric practices, and that will really make yourself to kind of like a sponge. You pour the water, it sucks like that. So we become like that. So whatever practice we practice, the nectar will be ourselves become like a sponge. So 100,000 the Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, and that is sadhana is based on Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, the text, the usual text, then accumulating the name mantra. So there are 2 traditions. One is doing the 5-line prayer, and some do the 4-line prayer. So either way is fine. So when I did the retreat, my late master asked me to do the 5-line, because if you do only 4-line, the Vajrapani prayer is skipped. And for those who are very advanced practitioner, who is already in high level practice, is okay. But as a beginner, we have so much hindrances, obstacles, and Vajrapani, especially obstacles of delusion, obstacle of unseen like spirits, etc. And Vajrapani is antidote to that. So Lama says that good to do all the 5 line, and if you do diligently 4 sessions, again about 2 weeks time, you can accomplish the retreat like that. So these are the uncommon preparatory practice to enter into Tantra. Then you go for initiation, so like that. Otherwise, in today's time, many things upside down. First go for initiation, and that also directly go for higher Tantra initiation. Then only start to learn about preliminary, then start with the preliminary like that. So actually is the other way like that, But it's still, even if we have already chosen the other way, but we can still reverse. We can refresh the tantric initiation if best from the same guru you have already received. If not, someone who provides, who is qualified guru, then in between, from now we can start to do the retreat like that. And of course, sometimes just to get the whole commentary is very rare. Then if we wait until we receive the commentary, and maybe it's difficult, the time passes so fast. So what you can do is, try to get at least, even just can be just general guidelines on the refuge, then how to conduct the session. Then after that, then you best to go into retreat. And the retreat also, today's time, life is so busy, so difficult to find dedicated time. So maybe you can, also can do a open retreat. open retreat, which is, at least do 1 sessions a day, minimum 1 sessions a day. Then you just do your normal, day-to-day duties like job, family, etc. Maybe the 1 session, you can do in the early morning before all the families wake up. Maybe the session can start around dawn time, around 3 o'clock. Then 3 to 4, 4 to 5, around 5 o'clock, you can finish the session. And if you can manage, and sometimes you can do 2 sessions. One is at the evening after you finish all your job, and then you can set on to session. Then once a while, if you find time, then you can do 4 sessions. Then the 4 sessions is not limited. You can do 6, 7, 8 sessions, maybe shorter. Maybe okay, your children is in school, your wife is in grocery shopping, or your husband is in the grocery shopping. So, okay, now I have 1 hour. Then you can just dedicate 45 minutes for the session, like that. So you can manage like that, but minimum, when in order to accomplish the retreat, the first day of the retreat, you do just 1 session, and also short session, not long session, short session. Because whatever amount of time, whatever amount of practice or amount of the mantra that you accumulate on the first session, that determined to sustain the retreat, by conducting that limit, minimum that amount daily, until you accomplish the 100,000. You see, because sometimes we may fall sick, you see, and even you need to stay in a hospital, but you can still manage to do this much, maybe just 1 time. Let's say refuge, Sanjichuda 1 time, and at least sit on the hospital bed and do the visualization. Then after that, just recite 1 time. I think that would be possible. Or if you are traveling in the aeroplane journey, you can find at least that much of time, isn't it? So as long as you don't break that, then even it take 1 year, 2 years, it's okay. As long as you sustain that, and the day that you accomplish 110,000, then you can claim you accumulate the completion of that retreat. So you can do like this, not only to preliminary retreat, but also to the daily yoga retreats, because we receive many initiations. All the initiation has a commitment of called the commitment retreat. Sometimes the lamas may not say. They say after you receive Vajrasattva retreat, Vajrasattva initiation, the commitment minimum 100,000. If you have received medicine Buddha or Tara or Cherezik or any deity, whether the guru say or not, the actual homework is minimum 100,000. Minimum 100,000 mantra accumulations of retreat. So you can apply a similar tactic like this if your life is too busy, finding time to dedicated time for retreat like that. Okay, so I went a bit further away out of the border what I supposed to talk. So anyway. Yes, like that. Any questions?
Venerable, we have a question from Karen on Zoom.
Okay, maybe you go first, then after that.
Okay, Geshe asked me to ask my question first, and then Karen can go. So Geshe, when you talked about doing the refuge and the mandala offering together, retreat together, so every time you do the heap and you go around, do that, So you do the Sangye Chadang, so you do the prayer when you're doing, and then when do you do the Sajipoki?
So when you do the 3 round out, 3 round in, that time you will complete reciting the refuge. Then when you do the hips, that time you are reciting the
see.
mandala prayer.
Oh, so that's when you do the Sajipoki. Okay. So,
Yeah. So it's like Sanje Chodon Suji Chonan La, Janju Bata Dani Jadun Je, Dake Jizo, Jibe Sonam Je, Dola Peje Sanje Druba Sho, Saji Peje Cho Shimendo Dam Relation in the Jebade, Sanje Shino Midi Boe, Tugonanda Shalo Choba
oh, I see. So you're putting all the heaps
Yeah.
when you're doing the Sajipoki. Okay.
But don't have to be exactly, the chanting and the hips. You just you carry on.
Understand. Okay. Great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Geshe-la.
Question from the Zoom.
Yeah. Anna, is it okay if I go? It's Karen.
Yes, certainly. Certainly,
Okay.
Venerable has invited you, yeah.
Okay, so by the time you're at the tantric stage, you probably have a divinity that you're identifying with that you've chosen. But regardless, in the tantric sadhana, how do you identify which divinity you are going to evoke? If you haven't bonded with one of them, how would you identify which divinity you're going to evoke then if you're at that
You
stage?
hear?
So I think, Geshe-la, what Karen is asking is if you don't have a deity that you have a connection with yet, but you want to do a tantric sadhana, how do you choose a deity? Right, Karen?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So before practice the sadhana, you have to be already chosen the deity.
Okay.
You need to have certain affinity. The affinity can be from your feeling of connection, or through the different signs that may occur through that, or on the recommendations of the guru, saying that this deity is suitable for you. Then from there, then you receive the initiation. Then only you get into the sadhana practice. So sadhana practice cannot practice before the initiation.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Venerable, we have another question on Zoom from
Sure.
Kodo. Oh, sorry, Venerable, Kodo's saying you've already answered a question. Thank you.
Okay.
Hmm.
No more question? Then I can carry on. Okay. I learned a little bit of lesson from this morning, not go straight. So in between have little break. Oh, okay.
Sorry, Venerable. On
Sure.
Zoom, we do have a question from Kodo. Here she is. Thank you.
Geshe-la, I'm pretty new to Tibetan style. So I don't have a guru yet. I have affinity to a deity. Actually, 2 of them keep coming into my dreams and visualizations. So what can I do with them? Thank you.
Okay. So, yeah, you can have one guru, many gurus, yeah. So, so that's it depend on, whether one will able to keep up with the guru-disciple relationship in the practice or not. As far as concerned with, in your case now, such kind of sign is occurring, then maybe not just based on the sign of dream, but then try to establish some logical, confirmation to yourself. Okay, this particular person, if you know, then try to learn the basic guru's qualification in them, whether this guru possess those qualities or not, and Then if you see the quality, since you have sign of infinity, then if there's a way to approach the guru, the teacher, then you can approach them and say, can you be my guru? Or if there's no such opportunity, then you can just establish the commitment in your heart and you observe the practice like that. But I think just occurring in the dream and just admiring someone without, having some basic definite confirmation through, reasoning, sometimes can be tricky. So good to confirm with some practical and logical reasonings. Yeah.
Yes.
And about the affinity with the deities, two deities.
Oh,
Not
the two
a guru,
deities.
but
Yeah, I think two deities,
yeah.
I think can apply the same reason. I think the same reason you can apply with the two deities, two friends, two gurus, two practice. You can apply the same reason.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Geshe-la.
Okay. Yeah, so now how to approach lam-rim in practice, maybe. Very much we have discussed before. Those are can be some sense of idea about that. But then here, if I make more specific, then so there's three important decisions that one need to make in order to utilize Dharma or the lam-rim into practice, into fruitful practice, fruitful practice. So those three decisions, after learning the teaching, as we discussed, in earlier sessions, such as reflecting on the teachings on small scopes part, or the common small scope and the common among the higher scope, the teachings on the precious human rebirth. The Lamrim extensively teach on the teaching on precious human rebirth. Then before that, the teachings on guru, such as learning the benefit of relying on the guru, having guru, and all the benefits that we receive, having guru in our life. Then even, relating to the teachings of the precious human rebirth, such as the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, you realize that you are in the most fortunate era, most fortunate life, most fortunate time in relation to yourself. Even though, you can say it's a degenerated period, but for you, referring to the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, having that, your present life is the most fortunate life, most favorable life. There's no more favorable life that you can obtain than the life that you have now. One of those reasons is to have a perfect qualified guru, like perfect qualified Mayani guru. An example, like his own, like Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, all your gurus, all the rest of the guru that you have, that alone can be the highlight of what do you mean by my life is the most favorable life, most conducive life, most blessed life. You see, can you imagine that your life, our life exists in this human form, where compassionate Buddha manifested in the human form as a guru and revealed the teaching most accessible way. There's no barrier at all for us to receive the correct Dharma teaching from definitely enlightened guru. Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So that alone, is the fortune is rarer than earning entire universe as your wealth. It's far more rarer and far more precious than being the supreme king of the 33 God realm. In many ways, this precious human rebirth can be more precious than some of the bodhisattvas, and definitely more precious than those who are abiding in the nirvana peace. They achieve the freedom from samsara and completely lock up into, like deep sleep in the peace. The precious human rebirth that what we have is far more precious than that. You see, then we carry all the necessary intelligence. The intelligence that you have is you can understand any the aspect of the Dharma. Even the most profound teaching on emptiness, you can understand so easily. You carry that wisdom. Isn't it? Isn't it? I don't know about me, but you definitely carry that wisdom. Like some of us, like myself, 20, 30 over years, try to understand and still don't understand. Many of you people, just one session, you understood. And some even express, I think I realized emptiness. Yeah, I can. I had a great feeling of realize emptiness. I mean, a lot of people like that. And say, oh, I see. Okay, possible, but possible. Maybe already studied so well in the past lifetime. Then just meeting with one condition, really possible, definitely possible. You see, but the smartness, in your world, you're so smart. So that's why, you see. And then also, so easy to develop compassion. You see, you already have so much compassion. You see, you have genuine compassion to yourself. There's no doubt. And you have genuine compassion to the loved ones. That's amazing already. And not only that, you're already in certain degree of training to have compassion to the enemies, to have compassion to the all sentient being. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, isn't it? You have a heart, that much big heart. Thinking of all sentient being while we are eating just now, before we eat the lunch, we think of all sentient being. Unbelievable. You see? So therefore, you have all the tools to practice Dharma. You are in an absolute, total capability to practice the Dharma and achieve the entire purpose of Buddha, revealing the teaching. And there comes to make the first decision. I can practice Dharma. I can, because many beings, first of all, not even aware there's existence of Dharma. And there are quite a number of human beings who is aware of existence of Dharma, but then let go because saying, I cannot. I have no time to practice. I have this and that responsibilities, therefore I won't able to practice. There's so many excuses to let go of practicing Dharma. You see. But as far as concerned with the life that what we have here in each and every one of you, really, is what you call legitimate reason, factual reason, convincing reason that I can practice Dharma. I can actualize full enlightenment, if not within this very session, but maybe 3 years' time. If not, at least end of my life. If not, at least 16 lifetime, for sure. For sure. How lazy I can be also, I can be completely beneficial for all sentient beings, like all the Buddhas does, you see. So the first decision in relation to the knowledge that you learn from Lamrim on the mainly the teaching on the small capable beings path, like such as teaching on precious human rebirth, then the teachings on the common path, guru devotion, from there, you make the first decision to practice the Dharma, and this is the required, in order to really bring definite benefit of the Dharma. So this firm decision that you need to make. Now, second decision is the decision of I must practice now. There are, so many excuses in our life. Yes, I have the capability to practice the Dharma, like all the reasons that we have given before. And I have no excuses to not to practice Dharma. But at this very time, I'm still young, so I have time to practice. Then you delay the practice. Or say, today is very gloomy weather. Tomorrow sunny, then I will practice. Or today I'm in a lot of adversities, coming in my way, external environmental adversities or internal mental delusions. Then you say, okay, this is not the right time to practice Dharma. You may go that, not like that. See? Then it could be excuses of, okay, I have the job, so I should focus on earning first, then quickly earn, then after that retire, then I will practice, so this is also a completely wrong reasoning. So, now, I need to make family. When the children are grown up, they stand on their own feet, then I will practice, but not for now, all these excuses, also wrong excuses. So then I will only practice when I meet my perfect guru. I already know little Dharma here and there. At least I know that I have precious human rebirth, and I already make the decision. The first decision is already established that I can practice. But I will practice when I met unbelievable guru, that every time I can be close to the guru, listen the teaching, and follow exact guide. Until then, I rather do a world tour, scuba diving, bungee jumping, Mount Everest climbing, cruising, food excursions, or whatever, Yeah. So that kind of excuses also may come. So it's wrong, etc. Then we may say that, now I'm just learning the refuge and all this, and I will be serious on practice when I start to learn the teachings on bodhicitta. Wrong, you see. Or now I'm just doing preliminary practice. When I get to Tantra, then I'll be serious. Wrong, you see. So therefore, now relating to the study in Lamrim, the teachings on death and impermanent. Is it death and impermanent? There's a statement made in the Lamrim. Death is certain, time of death is uncertain. It is so true. We experience in our life. There's, people, even from our family members, friends, neighbors. We never thought that, at this very moment, they are no more existent. There's some gone. Even especially during the COVID, some healthy people, they just suddenly, pass away. And there are so many, fetus pass away in the womb. You see, and so many young children pass away. You see, so it's not like once you conceive as a human being, then you will have this, 100 years of lifespan. That, nothing can be disturbed. Not like that. So many younger generation pass away before the old people. Some pass away when they're healthy. Some pass away, when they're sick. So really, it's not definite at all when and how, where you're going to pass away. It's not in our hand. Death is the result of definite karma of the past. That we made the mistake of not purifying karma and delusion in the past. Therefore, we reborn in samsara. Once we are born, then the death is the result of definite karma that you can't prevent. Even with extensive purifications of the dharma, you can prevent the untimely death. You can prevent suffering death. You're able to help to pass away meaningfully, happily, joyfully. Otherwise, death cannot prevent because of it being definite karma result. You see, so therefore, the life lies in the nature of impermanent. But then we hold this grasping of permanent. You see, even this very moment that we plan for dinner session is a permanent grasping. It's actually is hallucination, is a wrong view, is wrong conception, mistaken view, mistaken conception. It is called the permanent view. You see, all the plans that we have, Dharma programs, all our programs from next moment onward, and believing that will happen is all misconception, all false idea, is against the nature, because nature actually lies in impermanent. There's no definite at all, but we perceive as a definite. So therefore, reflecting on the death and impermanent, then especially So this main topic is death and impermanent. By realizing the wisdom of death and impermanent, death as a certain time of death is uncertain, then you make the decision that I must practice Dharma now in the present. Not only I have the capability, but I must practice now. You see, so this is the second decision. Then that will lead to third decision, which is the decision of only practice Dharma. So that's even harder. Only practice Dharma. I mean, one way is harder, but in another way it's easy. So it's how you look at it. So anyway, the third decision is I will only practice Dharma, and that decision comes relying on the study of the teaching of Lamrim on karma. Teachings on Four Noble Truth, teaching on traveling of interdependent arising. Then teachings on the altruistic practice, like such as teachings on emptiness, teachings on bodhicitta, and including teachings on tantra. and teachings on all the virtues, from the 10 virtues all the way up to the perfected virtues of the Bodhisattva's path. So learning all those teaching on the lam-rim, then you're able to make the third decision. I have capability to practice Dharma, but my life lies in the nature of impermanent. Therefore, I must practice now. And why I practice only Dharma? Because looking at the how the karma works, at the time of death and after death, from next rebirth onward, none of the present life's material existence, including of whatever concern that you have in this life, nothing helps, nothing benefits at the time of death. Money doesn't benefit at the time of death. The home, even how thick, how secure, bulletproof building you build also cannot benefit at the time of death. And at the time of death and beyond, you see, even you have thousands of servants, at the time of death, they can't benefit you. They can't benefit beyond the death also. Even you are the most powerful general, you have all the weapons of the world, you can't benefit at the time of death and beyond the death also. You have, whole world as your family member, like your friends. At the time of death, you have to die alone. No one can able to accompany you. You see, so none of this lifetime's existence can accompany us and help us at the time of death and beyond the time of death, like that. You see, so there's only one thing can able to benefit us, accompany us, help us at the time of dying, help us at the clear light, help us in the intermediate state, help us beyond intermediate state from future lifetime on. Who always stay with us. That is the imprint you accumulate, the habitual imprint that you accumulate, or the meritorious karma that you accumulate through cultivating Dharma. So because of that, understanding that for this very life, I have basic necessities are intact. I have enough, only have one stomach, or if you are a family member, then maybe let's say 10 more stomachs. But the way how we earn is like we have 1,000 stomachs. The way how we gather material things as if we have to take care of the whole world. The way how we do is we gather resources, etc., beyond our necessities. And that you can look into your garage. You look into your garage or your storeroom, or your grocery storeroom, or your normal, where you stuff all your baggage, you look there, or even your library, look there. There's so many things that you never want to touch, never use, but you just gather, and you still want to gather in collection, collect. As if that you have so much time to utilize them. So even the food, we buy so much food which is actually we won't eat, cannot finish, and majority of them we really throw away, we throw away. You see, so we have this human habit of so much grasping on material gatherings, like that. So anyway, none of this will help except the Dharma. And because of that, once you have the basic necessities like food, shelter, maybe some insurance, if in case, insurance. Anyway, in the West, you won't let free without insurance taking so much from you, isn't it? In Himalaya, no insurance, no insurance scheme, and sometimes this insurance, I think, I feel no good. This insurance, is it like the home insurance, health insurance, this insurance, that insurance. But when really home damage, the insurance company say, oh no, this one also not covered. This one also not covered. That one also not covered. There's almost everything is not covered. Unbelievable. And there are so many pages of writing, and they put everything in their own term, And of course, we human beings are lazy people. So when you don't read, then just insurance, pay. And then, car, same thing. Health, also same thing. You see? Anyway, but still, this is our culture. So basic insurance is okay. Basic insurance. Then otherwise, really dedicate, invest, your time, your body, speech, and mind in the practice of accumulating dharma, accumulating as much virtues as possible. Again, in one way, that doesn't mean you let go of all those responsibilities like a job, etc. From your job, you really can benefit so many stuffs. Can really help so many people's life. Yeah, and from the wealth that you accumulate, you can really offer so much relief of suffering of hunger, suffering of not getting medicine, clothes, shelter, etc. You really bring so much benefit, generous benefit out of your wealth. Then it's worth being busy, earning, etc. If you turn that into a dharma practice, like such as practice of 6 paramita, practice of generosity, practice of moral responsibility for the well-being of the world and the sentient being. You see, so it's not really again the problem of the material things. Not really money is not the problem. The wealth and job and busy being a family is not the problem. The problem is, how we design, how we motivate in the management of this responsibility, isn't it? Because dharma is very much defined through your motivation. So dharma is not kind of material object. Dharma is a heart. Dharma is attitude. You see. So if you apply the dharma attitude, heart of renunciation, heart of bodhicitta, heart of wisdom of emptiness, or the attitude of the practice of 6 perfection to the job, to the family work, then all things that you do in your ordinary life, everything become dharma. Then okay. Then okay. You see. So what here is meaning, make a decision to only practice dharma means whatever you do, everything transform into a path to enlightenment. Whatever experience comes in your way, take that onto the path to enlightenment. If suffering experience comes in your way, take that onto the path to enlightenment, like such as doing Tonglen practice of taking and giving, practice of developing compassion or bodhicitta. The sufferings are so beneficial to do that. You see, any goodness comes in your way, even you're able to earn more money, you're able to gather more resources, then turn that onto path to enlightenment by interpreting them in the practice of generosity, benefiting others, elevating suffering, other beings from suffering, start from your family members, friends, and the rest of the humanity, and the rest of the sentient being, wherever you're able to, you see. So that's what it means. So everything you're able to turn into dharma, then that's it. So here the third decision is, if you accumulate negative, then the result will be negative consequences. Like such as engaging in 10 non-virtues, the lightest one, will born into the preparable realm in the samsaric existence, like human and God. Then you engage in the act of killing. Then even in human life, you have a lot of sicknesses. You have short life. May face untimely death. Like that. Stealing, very light stealing, but then you have the resources to be born in human realm, then you have limited resources. So difficult to find job, so difficult to sustain your resources because of miserliness, stealing, like that. See? Then lying, even it's minor lying, the coming consequences still lead into samsara. Even you happen to born in a human being, no one trusts your word. Your word has no power. No one listens to you. Your children don't listen to you. Your partner don't listen to you. Your partner misunderstands you. Your children misunderstand you. Your friend misunderstands you. How sweet you talk. How elegant you talk. But everything becomes rubbish to others. You see. So then, like sexual misconduct, even though it's very light act, still you have the resource to born a human being. But then you have a very unethical life partner. Then never have respect, satisfaction in relation to your partner, and always overwhelmed with the desire, attracted out of your ethical boundary, make a lot of mistakes. Then be born into a very filthy places. When you study the karma, then it talks born in a very filthy, environmentally very filthy, ethical wise, very, very, very corrupted places. You see, and even the environmentally very dirty places. There's such a common consequences like that. Now, you commit more intense, then born into such as animal realm. Then more intense into 10 non-virtues, then born into preta realms. Then the most extent one, hell realms. The hell realms also got 8 hot hell, 8 cold hell. Then it's like Vajra hell. It's all got this intensity of its suffering. So when you study the lam-rim, one by one, it illustrates. It's so scary, and these are written for us to get scared. It's good when you study lam-rim, when you read through this, the karmic consequences of in hell and preta. When you're scared, then you tested the lam-rim. You tested the teaching. When you don't scared, this is a bluff. I don't. Just write down, where got such thing? I'm so happy. Everything's perfect. Where got such thing? So that means the lam-rim didn't go in. So therefore, that's why sometimes they're like this. Sometimes even when we have Dharma courses in the monastery, or even in the centers, people don't want to have courses on Guru devotion and teaching on suffering of lower realms. This subject must keep. Precious human, very good. Yeah, okay, compassion is okay, nice, wonderful. You see, altruism, nice, but don't talk about hell realm. Don't talk about this subject, and don't talk about Guru devotion too. I'm not going to bow down to anybody else. I'm myself. I'm the boss. So you see. So anyway, and death. Also very unpleasant to hear about death. Then, unless the life is not so conducive. If life is going well, then also don't want to hear about impermanent, because all the good thing I don't want to change. So don't talk about things will change. He said, don't tell me things will change. My lives are doing good. I have a good job, good partner, good family, and I'm in a good Santa Fe, very nice. Compared to many parts of California having such a hard time so much natural disaster. Oh, Santa Fe, I'm in Santa Fe, so don't talk about impermanent. I don't want to change. I don't want to change. I don't want to go anywhere, you see. So like that. And so, yes, but the reality is lies in impermanent, you see. So death and impermanent. So therefore, these Kadamba masters, why they are so successful in their practice, all the Kadamba masters, even the name called Kadamba means every single experiences, every single words of the Dharma, whichever level it's coming from, everything able to interpret into the three principal aspects of the path, everything able to take as a effective antidote to transform your mind, tool to transform your mind. Because of that, we call Kadamba. You see, so these Kadamba masters, all these Kadamba masters, they actualize enlightenment one brief lifetime, human lifetime, the life that equal to what we have, like that. The main force for them to able to achieve that is their main meditation object is death and impermanence. They make a statement: if I didn't remember death and impermanence, the whole morning means whole morning is wasted. If I didn't remember death and impermanence, few moments, all those few moments completely wasted. So my life become only meaningful when I'm fully mindful and aware of the nature of death and impermanence. Then Dharma become very solid, very, very intact, so like that. So, so therefore, the learning about the thorough detail of karma on the basis of death and impermanence, then without any kind of choice, or naturally, make yourself live, totality in the Dharma, completely in the Dharma, purely in Dharma. You see, so this is what practice that we need to achieve in relation to learning of the lam-rim. So live in the Dharma. Then the teachings of the three, the method and wisdom aspect, which is so very much the three principal aspects of the path that I interpret in the morning in relation to small scope, middle scope, higher scope. So living in these three level of practice, so if you are a beginner, then you live in the practice of these three principal aspects of the path in relation to small scope and the middle scope. If you are more mature, then live in the practice of the three principal aspects of the path, Dharma, the three principal aspects of the path in relation to the Bodhisattva path. If you are in the tantric practice, then three principal aspects of the path, the Dharma, in relation to the tantric path. So this is what it means. Practice Dharma now means practice the three principal aspects of the path now. Or practice only Dharma means live a life totality in the practice of three principal aspects of the path. Yeah. So, so for us, all of us, main body practice is a Mayanic practice, isn't it? So that means always, living in the mind of renunciation. Renunciation, see, mind of renunciation. Renouncing the samsaric existent, within self and within rest of the sentient being, by understanding the contaminated, existing, contaminated aggregate, which is the samsara, contaminated by karma and delusion. Then always have a very clear mind, aspire full enlightenment. And on the basis of that, then you develop this heart of bodhicitta, always living in the heart of acting, engaging, through your body, speech, and mind, in the concern of the well-being of all sentient beings. then that also do without any kind of grasping, which is like living in the Dharma of wisdom. Everything you do without any expectation in return or any form of grasping. Totality in the pure, in emptiness practice. You see, so try to, you see, you can have everything, but have everything without any attachment. You see, that means you are living in renunciation. You can have a beautiful home, and you try to make it even more beautiful. Okay, make until so beautiful like Buddha's celestial mansion, like this center. There's so much to make beautiful, endlessly beautiful. Make it, continue to make it, but do that without any attachment, any grasping. You continue to, develop the family, develop the resources, friendships, and admire the world, go around, earlier says don't distract, but now I'm saying the opposite way. You can do everything, but do that without attachment and grasping. Then that means you are living in a Sangha life, the real Sangha life. You see, it's not just like wearing a robe, because someone maybe wear robes, but then full of grasping. But real Sangha life means renounce life. So renounce from grasping attachment. Okay, and not only just attachment, but renounce from grasping of all the negative emotion. Like, if someone hurts you, don't take too serious. Don't get angry. Don't hold on to it. So you renounce from a grasping of aversion. You see, so that means you're living in the renunciation. You are living in the path. You're living in Dharma. You see, because it's impermanent. How much I grasp. How long you're going to hold on to? Just matter of time. I will go from this life, or maybe he or she will go before than me, or the environment will go and both of us go together. All of us will completely, disintegrate. So why I need to hold so hard? And life is so short. Even the conventional life is so short, 100 years. And most of us already reached, up to this stage. So why should I hold so hard? Take it easy. Sometimes you just shout yourself, take it easy, boy. Take it easy, then sometimes you stress out. You stress out, the business is not going well. You stress out with your partner, you stress out with your children. And you just tell, oh, take it easy, boy. It lies in the impermanent nature. How much even you feel and you want to have the problem of whole universe to you, also one comes to your way. One comes to your way. Even you one also won't come to your way, because it lies in the nature of karma. And second thing is, it lies in the nature of impermanent. You see? So it just be patient and it will go away like that. So any good things comes in the way, also not to attach, not to grasp, because this also lies in the nature of impermanent. Just rejoice. Rejoice. Oh, I'm so happy. I got this. Oh, also rejoice. May whatever merit, may whatever happiness that I have, I dedicate to all sentient beings to also enjoy the same way. Your heart becomes even greater joy. Your heart will feel even greater, like greater happiness, like that. So this is what it means. Then, in another way, what it means is, when you are living in the renunciation, means your heart is filled with full of compassion. Means full of love and full of compassion. Because renunciation means renouncing samsara. Samsara means suffering. By understanding suffering and limitation of samsara in you and others, and you want that to be free, is a heart of compassion, isn't it? It's a heart of compassion. Compassion is seeing someone suffering and wanting, that suffering to be free. That being to be free from that suffering? That's compassion, isn't it? So renunciation also, you can say, living in the heart of full of compassion. You see, like that. Then living in the practice of, attitude is, the path itself, the compassionate heart, the renounced heart, that developing into all amazing positive attitudes, great love, great compassion, bodhicitta, and can develop all the way up to the omniscient, Buddha's heart, like that, so you train that. You see. Then living in the heart of wisdom, is every experience you see, you try to interpret as like illusion-like, as like dream-like. You see, by understanding that there's no substantial existence. The idea that I carry, the object that I perceive, the relation that I establish, there's no inherent substance that can figure it out, or that can actualize from the subject, the mind, as well as from the object side. So therefore, nothing to hold on to. Is merely labeled. It exists in the images or experiences just simply that designated by the mind alone, nothing else. You see, so illusional-like, dream-like. See, so that that very much intensify the path, which is the renunciation again. The intensify the more intense level. It's like a direct antidoting to the negation, which are the delusion, which are the grasping, on the basis of the correct attitude, on the basis of the path, the renunciation. And when you supplement with the wisdom of emptiness, like that, then it becomes so solid, not just having idea, not to grasp, but now really makes sense. I have nothing to grasp. There's nothing to grasp. You see, so that's what you mean, to live in the Dharma, just be in the Dharma completely. Yeah, you see. Then once a while, of course, we are still ordinary. We need to also find dedicated time to train, isn't it? And that is do some short meditations, absorption meditation, very much karsa like the meditation on the space, like space, completely void, very spacious, tranquil, and like very much like how you perceive the space, like space, like meditation, complete void, remain in that emptiness, train for 5-10 minutes, like that. You see? So this is what it means, live in the Dharma, living in the Dharma, like that. Okay, something like that. So it seems like only got 5 minutes. Maybe the songs of the spiritual experience, maybe I can see whether, and my reading is very bad too. Yeah, very short text. The song of spiritual experience. So it says like this. Yeah, maybe I think we stop here. You can read. Yeah. Okay, maybe I quickly. Okay, okay. See whether I can read it within 5 minutes. So first verse, it says, your body is created from a balanced perfect factor of goodness. Your speech satisfies the yearning of the countless sentient beings. Your mind perceives all objects of knowledge and exactly as they are. I bow my head to you, O chief of the Shakya clan. So this before composition, you make subject, pay respect to the to the Buddha, to clear obstacles for the conversation and also to accumulate merit so that this teaching would be most beneficial. So second verse, you are the most excellent sons of the such peerless teacher. You carry the burden of the enlightened activities of all conquerors. And in countless realms, you engage in ascetic display of emanations. I pay homage to you, O Maitreya and Manjushri. So this paying homage to the two main tradition of the Dharma, the lineage of the Dharma, the extensive lineage and profound lineage. So difficult to fathom is the mother of all conqueror. You who unravel its content as it is are the jewels of the world. You are held with a great fame in all three spheres of the world. I pay homage to you, O Nagarjuna Aya Asanga. So the lineage guru were coming down. Streaming from the two great characters with excellence are the two parts of the profound view and the vast conduct. You are the custodians of the treasury of instruction, encompassing all essential points of this path without error. I pay homage to you, O Devamkara Lama Atisha, direct lineage of the Lamrim. You are the eyes to see all the merit collections of the scripture. To the fortunate ones traveling to freedom, you illuminate the excellent path. You do through skillful deeds, straight forth by compassion. I pay respectfully homage to you, all my spiritual mentors, such as Lama Umapa, his teachers, paying homage to them. Then the sixth, you are the crowning jewel among all the learned one of this world. Your banner of the fame flutter vibrantly among the sentient beings. Oh, Nagarjuna and Asanga, from you follow this excellent steady stream, this instruction on the stages of the path to enlightenment. Since it fulfills all the wishes of being without exception, it is the king of the king among all the quintessential instructions. Since it gathered into its thousands of excellent rivers of the treatise, it is as well as the oceans of most glorious, well-uttered insight. It helps to recognize all the teachings to be free from contradictions. It helps the drawing of all the scriptures as a pit instruction. It helps to find easily the enlightened intentions of the conquerors. It helps also to guard against the abyss of the grave negative deeds. So this is the benefit of Lamrim, all these benefits that we receive. Therefore, this most excellent instruction that is sought after by numerous fortunate ones, like the learned one of the India and Tibet, this instruction of the sages of the path, stages of the path to persons of the three capacities, what intelligent person is there whose mind is not captured by it. This consists instruction distilling the essence of all scripture. Even through reciting it or listening to it only once, the benefit of teaching the Dharma, listening to it, and so on. Since such waves of merits are bound to be gathered, contemplate this meaning. Then the root of the creating well and auspicious condition for all the excellence of this and future lives, it is to rely properly with the effort, both in thoughts and action, upon the sublime spiritual mentor who revealed the path, Guru devotion. Seeing this, we should never forsake him, even at the cost of life, and please him with the offering of implementing his word. I, a yogi, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. So this is how we should practice. This is how Lama Tsongkhapa have been practiced, like the Guru devotion. So each of the topic of the Lamrim, he expressed how he practiced and asking us to practice that way. So you can listen to that. Now, precious human, this life is leisure is even more precious than a wish-granting jewel. That I have found such existence is only this once, so hard to find, yet it is like a flash of lightning. It is easy to vanish. contemplating this situation, it is vital to realize that all mundane pursuits are like the empty grain husk floating in the wind, and that we must extract the essence of human existence. I, a yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. There is no certainty that after death we may not be born in the lower realms. The protection from such terror lies in the three jewels alone. So we must make firm the practice of going for refuge and ensure that its precepts are never undermined. This in turn depends on the contemplating well the white and bad karma, the negative and positive karma, and their effect, and on perfect observations of the ethical norm. I, a yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. Until we have obtained the most qualified form to pursue the excellent path, we will fail to make great strides in our journey. So we must strive in all the conditions without exception of such form. Thus, these three doors of our soul sublight with the evil karma and downfall. Since it is especially essential to purify their karmic defilement, we must ensure to cherish and constant applications of four powers, the four opponent powers, the purification four opponent powers. Liberation does not arise in us if we do not contemplate the causal process of the origin of suffering. We will fail to understand how to cut the root of the self-existent. So it is vital to seek true renunciations of disenchantment with the existing, and to recognize which factor chain us in the cycle of existence. I, a yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. So this is teaching to reflect on the true truth, Four Noble Truths, and bring about purification. Generating the mind in the central axle of the supreme vehicle path, it is the foundation and the support of all expansive deeds. To all instance of the true accumulation, it is like that axle of the goal, accelerator of the goal. It is the treasure of merit containing merit collections of virtue. Recognizing this truth to the heroic bodhisattva, uphold the precious supreme mind as the heart of their practice. I, a yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation should do likewise. So the bodhisattva's path. Giving is the wish-granting jewel that satisfies the wishes of all beings. It is the best weapon to cut the constricting knot of miserliness. It is the undaunted deeds of the Bodhisattva giving birth to courage. It is the basis to proclaim one's fame throughout all the 10 directions. Knowing this, the learned ones seek the excellent path of giving away entirely their body, wealth, and virtues. I, a yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation should do likewise. So from this onward, the practice of sixth perfection. Morality is the water that washes off the stain of ill deeds. It is the cooling moonlight dispelling the burning agony of the afflictions. In the midst of the people, in its most majestic, like the Mount Meru, it is drawn together to all beings without any display of force. Knowing this, the sublime ones guard as if they would their eyes the perfect discipline which they have chosen to adopt. I, a yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. Forbearance is the supreme ornament for those who have power. It is the greatest fortitude against the agony of affliction. Against it is enemy, snake of hate. It is the Garuda crossing in the sky. cruising in the sky, against the weapon of the harsh word, it is the strongest armor. Knowing this, we should habituate ourselves with the armor of the excellent forbearance by all possible means. I, a yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. If the armor of the unflinching perseverance is worn, knowledge of the scripture and realization increases like a waxing moon. All conduct become fused with the good purpose, and whatever initiative we may begin succeed as a hopes for. Knowing this, the Bodhisattva apply great waves of effort which help to dispel all forms of laziness. I, yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. Concentration is the king that region over the mind. When left, it is as unwavering as the king of mountain. When set forth, it engage with all object of virtue. It induce the great bliss of the serviceable body and mind. Knowing this, the great accomplished yogi constantly apply meditation, destroying the enemy of distraction. I, yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. Wisdom is the eye that sees the profound suchness, is the path eradicating silent existence from its very root. It is the treasury of the higher qualities that are praised in all scripture, is known as the supreme lamp dispelling the darkness of delusion. Knowing this as the learned one who aspire for liberation, enduring with the multitude effort to cultivate this path. I, yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. In the mere one pointed concentration, I fail to see the potency to cut the root of silent existence, yet with the wisdom avoid of the path of the tranquil abiding, no matter how much one may probe, the affliction will not overcome. So this talking about if you have only shamatha, if you don't have a special insight, then the defilement won't able to overcome. So this wisdom decisively penetrating the true mood of being, the learned one settle it is astride the horse of the unwavering karma writing, and with the sharp weapon of reasoning of the middle way, free of extreme, they dismantle all lotus of the objectification of the mind grasping at extremes. With such expansive wisdom that probe with the precision, the learned one enhance the wisdom realizing the suchness. I, a yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. What need is there say that through the one-pointed cultivation, absorption is realized through discriminative awareness, probing with the precision, as well as one can abiding, unwavering, and utterly stable upon the true mood of being. Wanderers are the who see this and strive for the union of abiding and insight. I, yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation should do likewise. So special insight, important special insight. The space like emptiness of the meditative equipoise and the illusion like emptiness of the subsequent realization, praise are those who cultivate them and bind together. The method and the wisdom travel beyond the Bodhisattva's deeds. It is the way of the fortunate one to realize this and not to be content with the partial path. I, a yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. So this one is emptiness meditation, post, like dream-like, or was it illusional-like in the post-meditation, and space-like in the meditative state, as discussed before. Thus, having cultivated as they are the common path, essential for the true supreme path of the causal and resultant great vehicle, I have entered the great oceans of tantras by relying upon the relationship of the learned navigator, and through the applications of the quintessential instruction, I have made a meaningful human existence that I have obtained. I, a yogic, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. In order to make familiar to my own mind and to help benefit fortunate others as well, I've explained here in words easy to understand, in its entirety, the path that pleases the conqueror. Through this virtue, may all beings be never divorced from the perfectly pure, excellent path. Thus, I pray, I, a yogic, have made aspiration in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should pray likewise. That's it. Thank you. So everything is in here. Yeah, okay, we stop here. Thank you. So the dedication, everything gone. So then I took some of your time. So this can be also oral transmission in English. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all the Zoomers.
Thank you, Venerable.
Thank you for your
you.
effort.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.